What's going on, Cowboys Nation? All right, we are going to dive into the aftermath of what happened last night in the season opener of the NFL season with the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm going to first play a fucking clip real quick from Teddy Bruschi, the all-pro, Hall of Fame, whatever you want to fucking call him, linebacker, defensive end, D lineman, whatever position he fucking played when he was with the fucking New England Patriots. This motherfucker made the dumbest fucking statement I have ever heard a former player say on national TV. Listen to what Greeny asked Ryan Clark, Teddy Bruschi, and Dan Orlovsky if Cowboys fans should be encouraged or discouraged about that performance last night.
Touchdown,
this is what he had to say.
Doesn't fumble. If I'm Brian Schottenheimer, encouraged. Yeah. Yes, we played well, but playing this well should raise our expectations of what we can be, because as the Eagles are talking about their mistakes, the Cowboys should be talking about theirs as well.
And Dallas shouldn't be playing this game to leave Philly feeling encouraged.
Yeah.
Encouraged is what losers feel. And then right now, they played like an average football team, all right? The great football.
Excuse me? Encouragement is what losers feel? Do you remember the question he was asked? The question he was asked, should Cowboys fans be encouraged or discouraged? Not the fucking team or the players, you dumbass. The fans. Yes. Cowboys fans should be encouraged with that fucking performance, because we traded away our best defensive player and they barely did anything. The Eagles barely put up points. 3 points in the second half. What happened to that blowout that everybody was talking about? Huh? I'm waiting, because there wasn't a blowout. The Cowboys covered the spread. The Cowboys should have won that game. Hurts didn't play better than Prescott. Prescott didn't play better than Hurts. They played exactly the same. They both played great. And encouragement is for losers? Coming from a Super Bowl champion? So, out of all those Super Bowl titles that you've won, you weren't encouraged to do it again? To repeat? Huh? None of your success led you to, gave you the, made you encouraged to do even more or better than what you did previously? Encouragement is not just meant for losers, Teddy. Encouragement is meant for whoever seeks it. And that can be a loser or a fucking winner. And you should be ashamed saying that. Because he didn't ask you if the team should feel encouraged. He asked you if the fans should feel encouraged. There's a big difference between the two. The fans sit and watch. The team actually goes and performs and actually has to play the game. There's a big difference between that question. Now, if the question was, should the team be encouraged? Then yeah, maybe you're right. But that wasn't the question. It was the fans. And yes, fans should be encouraged for how the Cowboys played last night. Because everybody, including you, did not give them a single chance in this game. Not one. Not one. All three of y'all sitting there gave Dak Prescott or the Cowboys a chance. Neither one of y'all did. None of y'all. Encouragement is for losers. Get the fuck out of here, Teddy. Get the fuck out of here. All right. Now let's actually get into the game to where apparently me as a fan, I'm not supposed to be encouraged about this performance, but coming from him and Ryan Clark and Stephen A. Smith and Chris Broussard and all these other people, that the Cowboys were going to get their asses kicked. We were going to get blown out in this game. That doesn't look like a blowout to me. We're even on, like, I'm trying to understand where this blowout is. They beat the Eagles had us in the time of possession. That one fluke of a turnover, which I don't understand how happened. 9 penalties for 110 yards. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that the Cowboys were the better team, because we weren't the better team. But I'm also not going to sit here and just believe all this nonsense that these former players are saying, when it's absolute asinine and it's absolute dumbass takes. There was probably 10 former players that said the Cowboys were going to get their asses kicked, and they stood no chance in this game. The Cowboys were in this game from start to finish. Start to finish, they were in this game. Nothing prevented them from winning this game. The Cowboys didn't lose this game. Or let me say that the Cowboys didn't, stuff that a lot of people like to say that the Cowboys are the reason for their own downfall. The Cowboys didn't do anything in this game that led to them losing, is what I'm saying. They just lost to a better team. The Cowboys aren't at fault for losing this game. The Cowboys were in position to win this game multiple times. Prescott didn't even get sacked. And we ended up having a sack. And we don't have Parsons anymore. And that's all people were saying leading up to this game, is that, how are we going to get pressure? How are we going to get pressure? Well, we were the only team that got pressure. Granted, we still lost. But I don't know how many times I had seen multiple people this week and last week leading up to this game were saying that the Cowboys had no chance. No chance at all to compete in this game. And if you watch that game from start to finish, the Cowboys were lock and key. With every step the Eagles made, the Cowboys were right fucking there. This was not like this big, huge gap of the Eagles are 10 times better than the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are just 10 times worse than what they were because Parsons isn't there. That could not be further from the truth. If you're an actual objective football fan and watch the game, you would see that. The Cowboys, very good at offense. They can be very explosive. Those drop passes by CD, don't expect him to drop those all year long. It was the first game of the season. Dak and CD didn't play in the preseason. None of our starters played in the preseason on offense. Some drop passes are bound to happen. It sucks that it happened late in the game in crucial moments. Yes, those are killer. But they're gonna happen. Do I expect CD to make those plays further into the year? Damn right I do. Has he made those plays throughout his career? Damn right he has. Am I ultimately worried about this team going into the season? Nope. I am not. I'm optimistic. I'll say that. I'm more optimistic now after seeing how that defense played and that defensive front played without Micah Parsons. We're able to get pressure. We need to work on our containment better. Stop breaking inside and giving up that contain. And that's what led Jalen Hurts to have 62 rushing yards. If we don't give up contain and we keep Hurts inside the pocket a little bit longer, he doesn't break those runs, and maybe they don't score on their first 3 possessions. Who knows? But we lost to a better team. When I say we, I mean the Cowboys. We didn't lose that game. There was nothing that we did throughout that entire game that caused us to lose it. The only thing that I would say needs to be a little bit better is our defensive ends need to work on not giving up contain, and CD can't drop those passes. Those are the only 2 things that I would change out of that entire game. And if you change those 2 things, we win that football game. We win that football game. The Eagles could not move the ball at all in the second half. Could not move the ball at all. Period. They had that one drive to start the second half, and that was it. They couldn't move the ball the rest of the game. So, I am very pleased with how they played. As a Cowboy fan, yes, I am encouraged, and that does not make me a fucking loser. That is the most asinine thing that a former player could say about other players or a fan base. That to feel encouraged makes you a loser. That was the dumbest take by Teddy Bruschi that I've ever fucking heard. And if that's all that's all I have to say. See you later if anything else pops up in the Cowboys realm. If not, whenever that next video comes, I'll see you then. DC for life.